So we've got a beautiful day here today. Got here, emptied my rain gauge, walked inside, written up the measurements on my little chart. What have you got over here to show me?
Do away with your pen and paper and your little rain gauges that will fill up and overflow and you won't know what's going on.
Right.
This one automatically dispenses the water out the bottom with the tipping bucket and reports it all to the internet, so you don't even really need to come and empty anything. You can see it from your home office there. And,
That'd be nice and warm.
Yeah, with the heater on. That's right, yeah. So what we've got here is one of our stations.
Yeah.
We can add the sensors to what you need. So the station itself, in a general format, you would have your rain gauge here with spikes on top to stop the birds getting in there. This one here's got temperature and humidity in that sensor there. It's got a wind speed and wind direction up there. Barometric pressure and solar radiation here to measure your solar radiation light. That can also be a PAR sensor, which is used a bit more for plant growth. You can measure the actual light coming down and turn that into growth days and things like that. This is the station itself. It's solar powered, so has all the battery inside there. The solar power charges the battery and runs the station. So it's all self-powered. It has a 4G SIM card inside, so that's sending data straight to the internet, so you can pick it up on your own web page. Has all your graphs, your recordings that can all be saved on there, and you can look at previous years' weather patterns as opposed to just looking at the BOM all the time, which isn't always relevant for your property. That also will trigger alarms to send SMSs and emails if you have any issues, as in high temperatures, low soil moistures, that sort of thing. We can also have soil moisture sensors, which would look somewhat like this. These sensors are also solar powered. The soil moisture probe would be down, you'd dig a hole, stick the soil moisture probe in the side, backfill it, and that would just sit in there, give you soil moisture. So what we can measure with that is soil moisture, soil temperature, and salinity as well. So there's 3 different varieties of probe if you just want the soil moisture. So this would send the signal back to this station and report it on your website. So it's about 600 metres distance from here to here, but these will mesh as well. So we can have up to 50 sensors. So another sensor here would mesh through this sensor and then back to there. So about 5 or 6 kilometres either side we can pick up there. We were sort of talking before and you mentioned that you've got another property over the way there.
10 minutes that way?
Yeah,
completely different.
10 minutes that way, and your rain over there can be 30 millimetres and 2 millimetres here.
That's correct. That's exactly right.
So microclimate is something that is a real thing. You know, what the weather station from the Bureau of Meteorology tells you that's way over that way
Over the hill.
isn't what's happening here. So rain over there is definitely not what's here. Temperatures can be very different as well, and barometric pressures and things also with different heights. So all the data it's an easy setup, tripods and everything. You stake it down in normal circumstances. We have guy wires. The whole kit comes all staked up, so you can plonk it anywhere you want, and it's all self-contained. The data all sent back. That's your little sensor there. So this one is an antenna for wireless sensors. So we can have, you may want to know what the temperature down in the valley is or something like that. Ideal for frost alarming. So frosts generally form down in your valleys.
Certainly does.
So you could have a wireless temperature sensor down in your valley over there. That will trigger an alert, which will come through as an SMS on your phone or an email and let you know that there's a frost about to happen.
Fabulous.
Yes.
This year, we've invested heavily in replacing our dripper lines, installing a Dream 2 controller and fertigation and all that sort of stuff, but we had problems with lack of water. I'm not sure whether the bore was getting low or what. Have you got something that can tell me what's going on with my bore?
Yeah, so just like the weather station outside, we have the same similar unit here, but it does have an attachment that can go in it that has water level. So basically all of that water level data can be used with your weather station, soil moisture, and it all go up onto the website.
Right.
The units have their own barometric sensors, so if it is raining outside, it does account for those levels.
Oh, okay.
So it's showing it more accurately. We can create them up to about like 500 meters as well, so you can have it nice and deep down, and with this unit sitting up the top. So that makes it all nice and wireless and nice and easy.
Yep.
You don't have to go out there, measure anything. It's all accurate. It's got barometric pressure in there, so it's measuring everything out there and making sure it's nice and accurate for you. We do have the standalone version.
Oh, okay.
So essentially works exactly the same, except it's Bluetooth download.
Right.
So as long as you're within 30 meters, you can take a download through to a mobile phone, iOS or Android. These units we can make up to about 500 meters long, so they can go deep down.
Yep.
This unit just sits at the top. Saves you having to get out of your car, take any readings, do any downloads. You can just, as long as you're within 30 meters, take a download through to your phone.
And then that download, can I get that up on the website at a later point?
Yep, so everything that goes to your mobile phone can be set up so that as soon as it comes into Wi-Fi, it'll automatically upload straight to the website.
Okay.
And that'll continue on in the website, so you'll see those graphs update themselves.
Right.
You'll get those nice pretty graphs, so you see them all coming up, and then I can scroll it down. So you can have different types of graphs. So we have line graphs, bar graphs, gauges. If you're deploying them out in boreholes, you can have that level sit on a gauge, so you can see which gauges are higher up and which ones are lower. Yep. As well as just simple, displays as well, see exactly what that temperature's sitting at. Yeah, so with our standalones, we do temperature, humidity, all in these little units here, all Bluetooth. So these are temperature and humidity or dual temperature, so it can be measuring your soil temperature, or it can go up beneath your olive grove trees and measuring those temperatures underneath there. All data loggers, so it'll just sit there and continually data log till you offload it. And again, same, you just drive past in your car, take a download through your phone. You don't even have to get out. We do have solar shields, so these sit on solar shields if they're sitting out in the open.
Oh, okay.
That'll protect it from any sun or direct wind temperature.
So as you can see, this tree has lost a lot of leaves. It's got a lot of branch dieback. I believe it'll be Cercospora. So what I'm trying to look for and trying to see is some nice sort of grey mould on the back side of leaves. There's yellowing of leaves. And in here we can see that this one has got some nice grey mould on the back of it. But obviously this has got to a fairly severe situation. We'll probably have to chop it right back, but we'll be getting on our spray program pretty much instantaneously to try and get rid of the Cercospora, or try and control the Cercospora. We also have a bit of anthracnose, so we'll be pretty constantly spraying this year to try and get some fruit back on the trees. We obviously have some waterlogging issues of our soil with the fact that we've got some reeds growing throughout the grove. I'm getting very wet feet. There's a lot of water lying on the surface, and then we have the existence of sections like this of reedy growth. So this is the original bore. In the last year, we've done a lot of work on irrigation, and we have, in fact, replaced the pump, because the pump that we had in there, we didn't know what the pumping capacity was. We've got the halovac going in so that the tablets hit the bore down at the water surface, which is where it needs to be. We've got a bit of iron bacterial problem with the water. And all the gauges in the world. This gauge, if I apparently attach a compressor to it, it'll tell me the depth, how low the water is. I'd much prefer the little system that the boys just showed us, quite frankly, and all the gauges to tell me if there's problems along the way. We have the hydrocyclone coming in, the halovac dosing system. There's 3 filters, a set of 3 filters over there, which can be flushed manually, or the Dream 2 system we have got, which means I can run the irrigation from my phone. So I can sit at home and set it to water whatever I like. I can program it. We've got 12 different sections of the Nankita Grove that this works on. We went through and dug little holes in each section to see what the soil profile was like. And each section had quite different. It tends to be a sandy soil with clay levels at various heights. So one section 6 down the end, say, we dug for 80 centimetres and couldn't find any clay. So that in my mind means that I water section 6 more regularly for short little bursts. Section 12 up at the road, which looks unhealthy, gets a lot of runoff from the road. So much so the previous owners have dug channels to sort of try and move the water away from the roots. So that has clay right up near the surface, 20 centimetres from the surface. So that gets waterlogged quite easily. So we reduce how often we water that. I can set those filters to flush from my phone. So if the water pressure, I look at the flow rates and know what each section should be able to do. It's actually programmed in what it should be at. So I can see if the flow rates aren't working or aren't where I think they should be based on my phone, I can flush the filters, or I can come out here and have a look at what's going on. We also have the fertigation bench installed. So this has got 3 different inlets. One's for your cleaning product, but this also is coordinated from my phone. So I can be fertigating. I can set it to run for half an hour, then fertigate for an hour and a half, and then run for another hour after that to flush all the dripper lines and clean it out. We put through some nitrogen easy N this year, but we will look at our soil tests again later in the season and work through that. This year with our compost, we are probably going to do some composting, add some gypsum. We also need a bit of phosphorus, potassium and calcium. So we're going to be adding that and sort of mixing all that out there and spreading that across the grove. But this makes it a lot easier. I can do the fertigation from here. All I need to do is hook an IBC up and I'm done, basically, and then I can control it from wherever I am. So without weather stations and soil sensors, basically I look at the weather, I go, it's getting hot, I'd like to have some soil moisture around, and I decide based on the different soil structures which area gets which amount. We had some issues this year where I think the bore was getting quite low, and so we didn't have enough water to do big, long sessions across the whole weekend, obviously trying to make the most out of off-peak power rates. So we needed to do sort of shorter bursts, give it a rest, let it recharge and go again. So something that I'd probably look at would be the bore water level monitor would be quite interesting, and also some soil moisture monitors would be my ideal. So ideally this system would be able to talk with the 1 temp soil moisture monitors, and the moisture monitors could say it's got dry and automatically switch this on, which would be a whole nother realm of worry taken away, and automation of the system, which would be fabulous.